Would you please take your seats if you can, please? Thank you. We want to welcome you here today. Thank you for coming. We tried to wait about 7 minutes because people park and walk and talk and meet people that they haven't seen for years. One particular individual had a picture that was about, 31 or 32 or 34 years old and was showing everyone that picture. So maybe we'll get to see it, a photo. My name is Ken Iglesias. I'm the president of the college, and I want to welcome you this afternoon. Watching the weather and listening to the forecast of two meteorologists, the local one on Channel 7, Dallas Rains, and then the one on the Weather Channel, and I don't know her name, both certified meteorologists. They predicted rain today. So I know Margie Bunton and Suzanne Droney and the Bromleys and about 14 other people were doing a rain dance out in the parking lot, and it did not come. So if we go real fast, we'll be able to get through it without any raindrops on our bald spot here. Again, I want to welcome you to the 10th annual Courtyard of Honor ceremony. These are very special events at all of the area community colleges where we honor our distinguished alumni, graduates, certificate holders, and people associated with our institutions. And all of the community colleges celebrate these events. They're the wonderful events that we're also proud of because we see so many of our California Community College graduates achieve tremendous success across this state and across this nation. Many of our graduates are in the U.S. Congress and the state legislature. They hold the highest offices in the land. They're corporate leaders. They're college and university presidents. They are the captains of industry, the public servants that run the cities, fire department, police agencies, and just about everything in between that you can think of. They're in hospitals. Everywhere you find community college certificate holders and AA degree recipients. So it's a special day for us. This 10th annual Courtyard of Honor ceremony began in 1991 as part of a 20th anniversary celebration here at Golden West College. The ceremony not only recognizes our 6 outstanding alumni for the year 2000, but also new names that are added to our donor wall. And it's right back there near where Miss Bunton is standing. I would like to introduce some people in the audience that we're very happy and honored to have with us. They're all distinguished people. The president of our board of trustees, the Coast Community College District Board, Mr. Jerry Patterson. Distinguished member from Seal Beach of our Board of Trustees, Coast Community College District Trustee, Mr. George Brown. I think Dr. Berger was going to be here today, but I don't see him. He is here, okay. Another distinguished trustee from Costa Mesa, Dr. Paul Berger. Did I get all of the people I work for now? Did I miss anybody? Okay, thank you very much. From the city of Huntington Beach, we're honored to have the treasurer of our city and my friend Sherry Friedenrich, who is a Washington State University graduate. Yes. We, I think, have Norma Brendel Gibbs, the past mayor of Seal Beach and also Huntington Beach. Is she with us today? I don't see her. Okay. Several city council persons said that they would dine us with their attendance today, but I don't see them. Dr. Ralph Bauer was to be here, and Councilwoman Shirley Detloff was to be here. So if you see them, please greet them. Another trustee from a neighboring district who is on our wall and a past graduate of our college and a good friend of mine, Dr. Enriqueta Ramos, usually comes in late and stands in the back talking to people. I don't see her yet. She's a trustee at the Rancho Santiago Community College District and one of Golden West College's outstanding alumni in 1993. The Chancellor of the Coast Community College District is here, Chancellor William Vega. I think our Vice Chancellor is probably on his way. I don't see him right now, but Dr. John Renly is going to be with us today as well, the Vice Chancellor of the Coast Community College District. From our foundation, the Golden West College Foundation, members of the community and our staff, faculty, former staff and faculty, some of whom have retired, are with us today, and I want to introduce them. From Huntington Beach Hospital, Mary Botticella. And I don't think Mary is here. Jerry Dominguez is here with us today, I think. No, he's not. Rick Ganulin is here from Pacific Liberty Bank. Emily Young, another one of our recipients in our Wall of Fame here, as we like to call it, Emily Young. Dr. Emily Young, recent recipient of a doctorate degree from Pepperdine University. Margie Sorensen of our faculty is here. Thank you, Margie. The presidents of the Golden West College patrons and the super volunteers that are putting our wonderful gala, which we hope every one of you will attend and bring some friends, Bob and Georgie Bromley from Huntington Harbor. I believe the president of the Nursing Alumni Associates is here, Ann White. Thank you. Our associated students of Golden West College, this year's president, Sandy Taylor. Thank you. The associated students of Golden West College, vice president, Christina Carter. A number of other people in the audience who have been very active in the college, former faculty members that worked here many years ago, our friend Jim from Coastline College, a number of people that have been associated with this college and are still very active in our district. Thank you for being here today. I would like to introduce our Vice President of Instruction, Mr. J. Wes Bryan.
This year we're honored to be inducting 5 individuals and/or corporations into the Golden Society. This category of donors is people who have donated between $10,000 and $24,999. One more dollar gets you to the next category. So as your name is called, I'd like the inductees to please stand. Kathleen Dunn. Kathleen's not here. Kathleen's donation through the Smith Crape Endowed Scholarship Funds have helped students through the years. Huntington Beach Hospital, represented by Mary Botticelli. Is Mary here? The Huntington Beach Hospital is a strong supporter of Golden West, from the co-sponsoring of our 4th of July parade float with our foundation to the underwriting of the gala and supporting our nursing program. Huntington Beach Hospital is a strong supporter of Golden West College. Lauro Martinez Garcia. Not here. Lauro is a strong believer in the community college education, and he faithfully visits Ken once every year and makes a donation to our institution. Barbara and Corder Wattenberger. Are they here? Okay. If you were to look up the word volunteer in a dictionary, I'm sure that the Wattenbergers' name would sort of be that definition. Not only do both of these two people give hundreds of hours of volunteer time to our college, but they give it back to the community as well. And they've given generously to our scholarships and various departments on campus. And when they see a need, they're there to kind of fill in. In a conversation I had with Corder, he told me that his passion is music, and that he loves nothing better than going to convalescent hospitals and playing old pieces for the residents. When I'm playing and I hear them sing along, that's my reward. It becomes my passion. I've been going to the Stanley Convalescent Hospital once a week since 1984. The residents love the hymns and period pieces, and I feel truly blessed. And the last is the Jean and Jean Zwick Foundation. Thelma and Jean Zwick have given generously to the Golden West College's photography department. There's a plaque in the dark room that honors kind of the equipment that they have given to us. Their contributions over the years have helped students' ability to work with state-of-the-art equipment, and for this we're very happy. Thank you, each of you, for your generous contributions. It takes the effort of community members to make and enable a community college to serve the students that it does. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Lee Eastwood, Vice President of Administrative Services.
Good afternoon. This year we have 93 new additions to the donor wall. The donor wall is off to your right front. These new names are either new supporters or they are individuals or corporations who have moved up to a higher category in giving during this current year. 6 are in the honors category. That's the category that ranges from $5,000 to $9,999. 14 are in the President's Circle, $2,500 to $4,999. 10 are in our Scholar Circle, $1,000 to $2,499. And 58 are in the Western Circle, $250 to $999. The donor wall is cumulative. The Western and Scholar Circles have annual nameplates. The President's Circle, the Honors Circle, and the Golden Society have permanent nameplates. These donors are all listed in your program. After the ceremony, we would like you, if you could, to take a moment to visit the donor walls, to look at the names, and to if the people are here, to say thank you to them. And of course, on behalf of the entire college community, I would like to thank all of you who have so generously given to the college and whose names are represented on the donor walls. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Richard Porter, our Vice President for Student Services.
Good afternoon. I always enjoy following these two because, especially at this ceremony, because this is the only thing that they ever follow the script on, especially Lee. I have the pleasure of introducing Janet Martin Salemi, one of last year's outstanding alumni Pillar of Achievement recipient. Janet, a former cosmetology student, has helped revitalize an area in Long Beach. She has owned her own salon, Atlantic Salon in Long Beach, which was named the #1 salon. I found this out with my 2-minute conversation with her. The #1 salon in Long Beach by the Long Beach Press Telegram. She enjoys mentoring cosmetology students and is a community leader. Here to introduce the presenters for the 2000 Outstanding Alumni Pillar of Achievement recipients is Janet Salemi. Janet?
Hi. Every day that we wake up in this country is a great day. Some days are better than others, and this is one of those. I'm very excited to be here, and thank you all for coming, and thank Golden West for having me. This is definitely the winner's circle up here. And without even knowing you, I'd like to tell you that we have several things in common. We've all had Golden West as a foundation at some point in our lives. With the nurturing instructors and an environment conducive to growth, it's helped us to branch out into our prospective fields. Your thirst of knowledge and all of the opportunities that Golden West has helped us blossom to put you in the prestigious circle that you're in today. Being acknowledged publicly for your achievements is an honor that not many people experience in a lifetime. That's just one more memory that Golden West has given to us. The feeling of excitement that I'm feeling right now is probably another commonality that we share. Last year at this time, I was experiencing the feelings you have now. It is my privilege to this year introduce the presenters of Golden West Alumni Pillar of Achievement Awards 2000, which is a mouthful, all of whom in their own right have come into full blossom. First is Dr. Joanne Gass. Joanne is a 1994 Alumni Pillar of Achievement recipient. She received her PhD in comparative literature, has authored several articles, and is fluent in 3 languages. Ms. Joanne Gass.
Thank you, Janet. Sometimes I think I'm not fluent in one. President Iglesias, nominees and families and friends, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Carolyn Bostian. Carolyn, who received her A degree in 1970, epitomizes a Golden West College alumna. She has excelled in her profession, marriage and family counseling. She gives tirelessly of herself to community causes, and she devotes herself to her family and her friends. Carolyn is truly a pillar of her community, and she richly deserves the recognition that inclusion on the Alumni Pillar of Achievement represents. I met Carolyn in 1966 when we both enrolled in Lonnie Brooks's Survey of English Literature class here at Golden West College. She and I were young mothers with children who were themselves just starting to school. Carolyn was wearing go-go boots and a miniskirt. Mercifully, I don't remember what I was wearing. Carolyn had just read The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan. I was reading Hermann Hesse's Siddhartha. We were both interested in what made people tick. She was going into psychology. I was going into literature. In other words, we were both studying fiction. We both had dreams of getting an education which had been postponed by marriage and motherhood, and of making our way in the professional world. We quickly became friends. I shared my reading with her. She took me to every oddball personal growth and pop psychology session she could sign me up for. We raised our children, shared laughter and tears, achieved our goals, and we've been friends for quite a very long time. After receiving her AA from Golden West College, Carolyn attended California State University, Long Beach. There she majored in psychology, receiving her bachelor's degree and earning magna cum laude honors. After graduation, Carolyn entered the master's program, where she became one of the first to receive her master's degree in what was then a new degree area, marriage and family counseling. With that new degree, she founded the Community Counseling Center at United Methodist Church in Huntington Beach. The Community Counseling Center provided marriage and family counseling for people who otherwise could not have afforded it. In addition to counseling services, Carol also formed women's groups and organized sex education seminars for high school and junior high students in the Huntington Beach area. She taught in the extended education program for Huntington Beach High School District, and she taught psychology for 3 years for the Southern California University of Professional Service. In addition to teaching and counseling, she was a featured speaker for Jerry Patterson's Day for Women in Orange County. Carolyn left the Community Counseling Center after moving to Lake Elsinore, although she has continued her counseling out there, working for Dr. Reese and Associates in Murrieta. Carolyn has always been active in community service. Between 1965 and 1985, she was active in the Children's Home Society, both chairing and serving on committees for that organization. She served on the board for the Huntington Harbor Philharmonic Society and was president of her chapter. She and her husband Ken actively supported and participated in the Cruise of Lights at Christmas in Huntington Harbor, which benefits the Philharmonic Society as well. She also served on the United Methodist Church District Committee for Sex Education. Currently, she is on the foundation board for San Jacinto College. She's on the board of directors for Tri-Valley Hospice, where she also does volunteer counseling, and is an active member of the Rotary Club of Sun City, Menifee Valley. She is past president of a Rotary chapter and is the 1998-2000 governor's representative for Rotary International District 5330. Carolyn holds professional memberships in the California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, the American Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, the AAUW, and the California Society for Hypnosis and Family Therapy. In recognition of her community service, the Sun City Menifee Seroptimists chose her as one of their 1990 Distinguished Women of the Year. Clearly, she does not just join an organization and pay dues. She actively participates in the organizations she belongs to. Carolyn's commitment to her community and her profession are mirrored by her commitment to her marriage, her family, and her friends. Carolyn is a steadfast and loving friend, wife, and sister, and she is a wonderful mother and grandmother. She and her husband Ken have been married for 49 years. Her relationships with her children reflect the love, understanding, and compassion with which she raised them. They lead successful and productive lives, and they too are as devoted parents as is their mother. The Golden West College Foundation honors a woman whose very qualities epitomize the very best that a graduate of Golden West College can be. Carolyn Bostian's personal and professional achievements reflect well on the education she received at Golden West College and speak forcefully for her nomination as a recipient of the honor of installation on the Alumni Pillar of Achievement. I am very proud to introduce to you my friend, Carolyn Bostian.
Thank you. Dr. Iglesias, faculty, foundation members, honored guests, family, and friends. I am honored to be chosen as one of the Pillar of Achievement Award winners from Golden West College. I especially thank you for that beautiful, loving, and generous nomination and introduction. Thank you, Joanne. I also thank those who wrote letters in support of her nomination. As she said, we met right here on this campus. We were a handful, only a handful of women in those days returning to the college campus to earn our college degrees. We were called the DARs, the darned average raisers, because we were serious when we came back to college. We maintained a friendship of long standing. We supported each other not only here at Golden West College, but as we went on for our higher degrees, all of us achieving higher degrees and being successful in our fields of endeavor. Some of our marriages made it and some didn't, but we were there for each other. Women have always played a strong role in my life. For one of my earliest memories is of my mother and my aunt as they persisted with me to learn how to read in first grade, and I felt dumb and stupid. And I was determined I couldn't read. They were just as determined that I could, and they found the key, and it opened my lifelong love of learning. And I became an avid student, but it's a wonder that I did, considering all of the moves that we had to make in our early life. My two sisters and I were born in Little Rock, Arkansas, at the height of the Depression. My father owned a garage and repaired cars, but it soon became impossible for people to pay him. And there were times we went without food. I have memories of that. There were times, even though we only had a wood stove to heat by, that we didn't have wood to heat the stove. In my family, my mother and father decided that this was not the place to stay. So my father came to California, to the land of opportunity, and we moved out to the farm to live with my grandfather and my mother and my aunt. And it is there that I started first grade. I wasn't there very long. In second grade, we moved to California to be with my father. Hadn't been here very long when we got a telegram that my grandfather was dying, and we hastened back to Arkansas, got there just that evening, about 1 o'clock in the morning, went in to say hello to Grandpa. The next morning he was dead. We stayed back there. He had stayed alive to see Sally and her 3 daughters. He had stayed alive to be with us, and my mother stayed there for a year to help settle his estate. When that was done, we moved back to Long Beach again. This time, we were here about a year and a half, and that fateful event, December 7th, 1941, the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The West Coast became a frightening place to be, and my mother decided to pack up her 3 girls and drive back to Arkansas in the middle of the United States where she thought it might be safe. And so we returned to Arkansas, and I graduated valedictorian from the 6th grade there. In the fall of 1944, we moved back to Long Beach, and I entered junior high school. And it was there are friends in the audience today, that I met in junior high school in Long Beach. We have maintained a lifelong friendship, and some from high school. We get together monthly to maintain that friendship. I graduated from Poly High School in 1949, and I did have 1 year of Long Beach City College, only to have both my mother and my father become ill, and I needed to become self-supporting. So I took a job with General Telephone Company and didn't return to college. I did have tears over that too. The next year, I met my husband, Ken. He was in the Air Force, and we were married in September of 1951. He had to finish out his duty, so in 1953 to 54, we lived in England for 2 years. Upon returning to Long Beach, he entered Cal State University, Long Beach, and I went back to work for the phone company, which was what you did in those days, and he got his bachelor's in business, and I got my PhD, which was known as putting your hubby through college. We began our family in 1958 with the birth of my first son, Philip, my only son, Philip, my second child, Suzanne, in 1960, my third child, Rebecca, in 1963. My world was engulfed, babies, toddlers, school children. We found our dream home and moved to Huntington Beach in 1965, the same year that Golden West opened her doors. And I became very active in the community, as Joanne said. I joined organizations. I was very active in the PTA and the Community United Methodist Church. But something was missing for me. And I used to drive by over here and see this college. And it beckoned to me. And eventually, I got brave enough to go take the entrance exam. And lo and behold, I passed. And then I knew I had to do it. One of my first exposures to the campus was singing with the community chorus led by Warren Peterkin. He and his wife are amongst those friends that get together monthly to maintain our long-time friendships. Another course that was very important to me because I gained some skills that really helped me through the next 7 years of college was speed reading taught by Jim Baugh. And he and I remain friends, along with Joanne, and have maintained a friendship for many years. I felt college was rewarding. I felt I belonged. This is where I needed to be. It was a struggle with all of the roles that we had to juggle. And as Joanne said, we were there for each other. I had many good teachers, I'll have to say that. But right here on this campus, I had the best teacher that I have ever had. He was enlightening and enthusiastic. He taught history of Western civilization and philosophy. And he was creative and contagious. He was Dr. James Catanzaro. And he helped me to gain confidence and to make my decision to go on for those further degrees that Joanne told you about. My bachelor's in psychology, my master's in community clinical psychology, the first year it was ever given over at Cal State Long Beach, thus enabling me to try for the license of a marriage and family therapist. With enough interns hours and passing the state written and oral exams, I became a licensed marriage and family therapist. I was very lucky at that time. There was a young minister at the Community United Methodist Church who approached me about opening the counseling center here in Huntington Beach. We had a couple of psychiatrists over on Beach, but we really didn't have counseling available to all the residents in Huntington Beach. So I became the director of the Huntington Beach Community Counseling Center. And I had my practice here for 20 years, 1974 to 1994. We moved out to our present location in 1985. I maintained 2 offices until 1994 when I went full-time with Dr. Reese. I am still active in all of those organizations that Joanne told you about. And I will continue to be active for a number of years because I'm understanding that entering the aging process, that is the best thing to do to help you live a long life and keep your faculties too. I want to thank all of you who are here today. my sisters and their families, my children who were a challenge but cooperative, and respectful of my right to pursue my education and my career, my wonderful friends. But most of all, I want to thank you, Golden West College, for beaming that beacon that beckoned to me and enticed me to re-engage my education so that I then could come out and serve my community as a woman with professional standing. We just recently got back from Arkansas, where I had the privilege of visiting my little 2-year-old granddaughter. And while we were there, I took her out to the park to play. And she had gone down the slide a few times. And she kept asking me to go down the slide. Grandma, go down the slide. Finally, I did. I pleased her. I went down the slide. And I got to the bottom of the slide, and she clapped her little hands, and she said, "Grandma, you did it. Grandma, you did it." She was so delighted. I felt life come full circle, and the world being born anew in my grandchildren's eyes. I am pleased to have a permanent picture on the pillar here at Golden West College. And I hope someday they'll come by and they'll look at that pillar and they'll say, "Grandma, you did it. Grandma, you did it." Thank you.
That should be a book. It was really beautiful. Our next presenter is Ms. Chris Ohlendorf. She's an instructional assistant in the math labs at Golden West College. She supervises peer tutoring student to student and also tutors in the math lab. Ms. Chris Ohlendorf.
Staff, student, and guests, I am very proud and pleased to introduce the next recipient of the Alumni Pillar of Pillar of Achievement Award, Dr. Dawn Ohlendorf Braithwaite. After graduating from Marina High School in 1973, Dawn enrolled here at Golden West College, where she earned her AA degree. She transferred to Cal State Fullerton for her bachelor's and then on to Long Beach for her master's degree. She received her PhD in speech communication from the University of Minnesota in 1988. She is currently an associate professor and director of graduate studies in the Department of Communication Studies at the University of Nebraska. Her husband, Dr. Charles Braithwaite, is also a professor at the University of Nebraska. Dawn is the author of 35 articles and 2 recent books on her research specialty in interpersonal and family communication. She is presently the president of the Western States Communication Association and has recently published the Handbook of Communication in People with Disabilities, Research and Application. Dawn is a woman of action, attending and leading conferences, mentoring promising graduate students, writing and researching the needs of the disabled and elderly, and seeking solutions to problems arising in the many diverse, non-traditional family situations. Dawn's aptitude and interest in communication within step families is not incidental. At the impressionable age of 12, she herself became a stepdaughter, mine. Early on, her deep sensitivity, proclivity, and desire to communicate with others helped to strengthen our new and precarious family relationships. Her boundless energy and drive led her to always be a top student and school leader. After being uprooted from her high school in Illinois and brought here to California, she immediately became a popular member of the Mariners singing group at Marina High School. Her love for and participation in theater and music contributed to building her skills as a speaker, leader, and teacher. Dawn knew where her education would lead her since the time she started speech classes here at Golden West. She has always had an uncanny sense of what another person is feeling, and since she is able to express herself so well, she knows how valuable and rewarding interpersonal relationships can be. We all have needs, desires, hopes, and dreams. Many people are not able to do anything about them. Dawn is working to change that by helping to empower her students and members of the community to make their needs known and improve their lives through their own efforts. There is a particular song that the Mariners sang so marvelously at almost every performance. It was James Taylor's "You've Got a Friend." I am sure that anyone who knows Dawn will agree with me that that song could very well be her theme song. Please welcome my daughter, my friend, Dr. Dawn Ohlendorf Braithwaite.
What are you doing? Your mom makes you cry. I don't know. President Iglesias, faculty, friends, family, I am so honored to receive an Alumni Pillar of Achievement Award from Golden West College today. I'm especially honored to be introduced by my stepmother, Chris Ohlendorf, to have my father, Tom, the Shutterbug, here, my grandmother, Amy, here, and former professors and friends here today. Having my name added to the pillar is doubly special to me. I was a student at Golden West College in the early 1970s. How old am I? During the time when some of these buildings were being built. And if some of you were here at that time, you remember what happened when the buildings were being built. Pile drivers would drive the pillars into the ground. Boom, boom, boom. And I remember Jerry Schrader and I were reminiscing, sitting in the choir, and we would be having rehearsal, and when the pounding would start, we'd have to stop, and Jerry would get in with the beat, boom, boom, boom. And we literally sang some of these old pillars into the ground. When I was informed of this honor last summer by Margie, and I want to thank Margie for all her work today, I thought of all those people at Golden West College who have been so instrumental in my academic beginnings and my personal development. And so I wanted to tell you about what attending Golden West College meant to me. I did start here in 1973 as a speech communication major. I think I'm the only student in the history of college who never changed their major. I always knew what I wanted to do. I completed my AA degree here in 1977 and was very active here in speech communication and in music and in working in the library. I left California in 1982 to do my doctoral work at the University of Minnesota and have taught at the University of Minnesota, Arizona State University, New Mexico State University, and now at the University of Nebraska, where we have a little football team. You have to understand I'm from Chicago. I'm a lifelong Cubs fan. I've never backed a winner before. As I look back on my life and my career, I can say without a doubt that Golden West College was absolutely central to my success. I was at the college, I think, at a very vibrant time, although I imagine everybody says that. I took classes from wonderful professors like Sheldon Nyman and John Smedley. Sheldon Nyman was an early mentor to me and became a very close friend, always an inspiration. In fact, it was Sheldon who first helped me become active as a communication professional. We wrote and presented a paper at the Western States Communication Association Conference in 1977. This happened while I was an undergraduate student, and it's extremely rare for an undergraduate to present a professional paper. This all happened to me because of Sheldon's extraordinary efforts. In fact, from that time forward, the Western States Communication Association became very important in my life. I met my husband there, we became engaged there, and now 23 years after that first paper, I'm now the president of the association. I tell you that because Sheldon Nyman deserves so much credit and my everlasting thanks for his generosity. And many of you who know Sheldon know that he passed away several years ago, and I will never, ever forget him and what he did for me. It's still hard to talk about it today, but he was a wonderful man. Other speech communication faculty were so very influential in my life. Sharon Ratliff and Ruth Hunter are great friends, and they've long been associates through the Communication Association. Sharon, many of you might know, was the first community college president of our National Communication Association, and she did Golden West very proud. And I'm very fortunate to have contact of the faculty of today. Wes Bryan, although he defected to administration, David Hudson, Jama Bennett, and Sandy Sudweeks, and others. You've got a wonderful faculty here today at Golden West College. A second incredible contribution that Golden West made to my life was my affiliation with the music department, especially with Jerry Schrader right back there. I was so fortunate to be part of that program at an incredible time. I was a member of Jerry's choir when we presented the musical When Jeremiah Sang the Blues by Tommy Wolfe and Alf Clausen. And many of you know Alf, he does the music for The Simpsons, and Jerry just told me for Bette Midler's new show. This was an incredible experience for community college students. We did a musical that was reviewed in Variety. Jerry brought in members of the Tonight Show band, and I think about all the incredible things that he did for us in those days. It was an exciting and once-in-a-lifetime learning experience for the students. Now that I've been a faculty member for many years, I just can't believe the time that people like Jerry and Dave Anthony put into what they did. When I was a youngster, I thought, gee, aren't they lucky just to spend all that time with wonderful people like us? But now I know what a sacrifice personally that they made for us. And I've long known that my music and my theater training here at Golden West and also at Marina High School have been absolutely essential and instrumental to me in being an effective teacher, because I've learned what being a good teacher or professor is also being a performer. And ooh, that Jerry could be so hard on us some days, and I'm very grateful. Jerry taught me so much about being professional and about being a performer and striving to be the best I could be, and I thank you so very much. A third major contribution for me here was not in the classroom, but was at the Golden West College Library and Media Center. Some of you who've been here for a while may remember Judy Ackley. Judy hired me as a library assistant in 1973 for a whopping $1.30 an hour. Golden West didn't go broke on me. Each of Golden West College's wonderful librarians and the library staff members were incredibly important to me and incredibly supportive of my education, and so many of them became great friends, especially Sherry McGrew and Linda Waronko Redding, who some of you may remember. And many of them followed my career when I received my bachelor's and my master's, and were always there to offer congratulations. Their encouragement and pride meant a lot to me. I had so many other wonderful classes and teachers across the curriculum here at Golden West. In fact, my long-standing research on the communication of people with disabilities started right here with my association because I became a note-taker for deaf students at Golden West College. And that started me on a road of wanting to understand and know what their experience was like. And that work has been going on. It was the theme of my doctoral dissertation, and as Chris said, the recent book that we just published. All of that work started right here. Golden West College has also meant a lot to my family. My stepmother, Chris Ohlendorf, attended Golden West and later Cal State Long Beach, earning her degree in mathematics, and she now directs the Golden West College Math Tutoring Center. And I'm so proud of what she accomplished. She's one of those many women coming back to school. And I still laugh, I have not reminded her of this, but for Christmas one year I gave her college catalogs and said, you got to go back to school. And I remember she'd go to the Christmas tree and she'd get them out and she'd put them away, and she'd get them out and she'd put them away, and she'd get them out, she'd put them away. Kind of churned up wanting to come back, and I'm so proud of what she did. My sister Denise also attended Golden West, and my parents have also endowed a scholarship here for a police academy student. And it makes me very proud to see my parents give back to the institution. Finally, I formed wonderful friendships here at Golden West College. Many of these people who became friends for life, some are who are in the audience now. And nobody ever achieves anything alone, we all know that. But it's that convoy of family and friends and teachers and pastors and mentors who make us who we are. And I've been incredibly fortunate to have tremendous people in my convoy of life. I'm so glad to see the tradition of Golden West College carry over for new generations of students. Today, this college represents tremendous ethnic and gender diversity as new students are given the same wonderful opportunities I was given. And while I might like to think that I was always a great student, I was not always a standout student when I was here. And I thank the faculty and the staff members here for seeing past my immaturity and seeing possibilities in me, for pushing me hard, and that so many of you are still doing that for students today. Perhaps the greatest opportunity in receiving an award like this is just the opportunity to say thank you to all the people who've made such a big difference in my life. To all of you at Golden West College, thank you for what you did when I was a student. Thank you for making the time for me and other students, for doing such incredible and creative teaching and programming, and always going above and beyond the call of duty. I'll always be grateful. Thank you, and God bless.
This is great. We now have Mr. Evan Williams, who has been a professor of recording arts at Golden West for 20 years. He has been responsible for training and successful employment for dozens of talented Golden West graduates. Evan Williams.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's been my privilege for the past 22 years to be your instructor in recording engineering here at Golden West College. And today it's my huge honor to introduce to you David "Doc" Goldstein. Now, while I didn't have David directly as my student, upon his graduation in 1977, he found employment at United Audio Recording Studio here in Santa Ana, where I also was employed. So we were co-workers for about a year. And I clearly remember Dave's passion for high-quality audio and his meticulously skillful ability to interface large-scale recording systems. In fact, he was so good at troubleshooting and finding problems and being able to fix them that he earned the nickname Doc, and it's stuck all through these years. Well, think about this. In our society, there are those individuals, high-profile individuals, who have a tremendous influence on our culture by what they say and what they do. But at the same time, there are those people who achieve positions of importance and have tremendous influence in our culture, and yet they're not so well known. And David is one of those. But let me tell you how he influences our culture. As chief engineer of the sound department at Universal Pictures, decisions that David makes directly influence the quality of sound of the motion pictures and television shows that you watch that have that Universal logo on them. And when you pause to consider how almost everybody on this planet so voraciously consumes American entertainment content, well, then you get an idea of the kind of influence David has. But let me share with you one thing that I think is even more valuable and important, and that is David's value that he places on education. For over 10 years now, he's graciously taken his time to host our advanced students in field trips at Universal Pictures in the sound department and explain the processes involved in completing the soundtrack for both motion pictures and television. And our students have tremendously benefited from that. And so, Dave, I personally thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to introduce to you the Chief Sound Engineer from Universal Pictures, David "Doc" Goldstein. And I'm going to sit down so I can take a picture of you.
Well, I made Evan swear that he would be short, and I'm going to be even shorter. Now, I brought a little speech, but I'm going to really spin through it fairly fast because, as you may guess, I'm a lot better at hearing than I am at speaking. I just want to say a few things. First of all, this college is important to me, and it has been for a long time, because I learned here how to swim to shore when you're thrown in the middle of a river, and that river was the type of work I wanted to get into. And I want to back off a little bit and say that you talked about when Jeremiah sings the blues. Well, my wife is here today, and she had the lead in the play they did right after that, Joan Baby, and she's here today. And you two may have met, I'm not sure, but just wanted to throw that in there. So let me walk through my speech, and I'm going to edit out about half of this here. First of all, I'd like to thank Evan Williams. I'd like to thank Scott Steidinger. I'd like to thank Jerry Schrader. And I'd like to thank particularly David Anthony, because without David Anthony and his unique vision all those years ago, which I hope people really understand how rare that is, there wouldn't be a recording program within the music department here at Golden West College. And this happened long before it was common, and long before everybody could download MP3 files, and long before any of that happened. David had the vision, and that vision has affected many lives, and I just want everybody to understand what a big deal that is. And also, that vision continues when he brought Evan on board and Scott. It's an amazing place, and that's why I like to help them, because it's actually kind of greedy on my part, because I learn from the students. You know, the 14-year-olds who know how to write code faster than anybody, I pick their brains, you know. I'm not doing it to be a nice guy. So, now, with regards to the changes in my line of work, you know, when I first got into film sound, people actually recorded on 35mm magnetic film, and then 24-track machines came along, and then digital audio came through with D88s and MMR8s, and I don't want your eyes to glaze over here, okay? This is not a recording class, so I'm going to go real fast through this. But through all those changes, one thing that I learned here at Golden West and that has helped me is the ability to say, sure, we can do that. Doesn't matter that what you're asking for, Mr. Producer, Mr. Director, has never been done before, and I know you start day after tomorrow on this, $10 million show, but we'll take care of it, we'll handle it. And then later on you go, okay, now I have to make this work, what do I do now? We were able to make it work not because I'm so smart, but because I was able to have smart people around me, and that's the key, and that's what Dave Anthony did here at Golden West College, isn't it? It all comes back to that. So as I continue on, let me just say that audio changes. Analog to digital. Students' needs don't change. And so I say, if there's anybody out here right now who has, extra cash, the sound department here, the music department here, could use about 10 to 20 more Pro Tool systems to line the hallways, just like the pianos do. And being an expert in those systems should be a prerequisite to graduation from the Recording Arts program. And for those of you who don't know, that's a computer that can edit audio the way a word processor edits, words. So let me move on to the end of the story. I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I'm going to be done. Because people like this story, and I've told it so many times now I don't even need to read it anymore. You all hear about movie sound and how everything is just always so perfect, and by the way, it's not my fault that movies are too loud, okay? That's the deaf producers and directors who require us to turn it up like that, so don't shoot the messenger, okay? But I'm going to tell you a little story about Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm sure you all remember that show. There's a funny incident about that movie I want to share with you, and then I'm out of here. There's a scene in that movie where Indy Jones is fighting with a German soldier in a all-wheel drive vehicle that's racing down this dirt road, and they're fighting, and they throw each other out of the windows, and they're dragging along the bottom, and he pulls his way up, and he gets back into the chair, and they're fighting again, and then he pushes the bad guy out, and then that's the end of the scene, basically. John Williams, who scored that movie, is an amazing composer, obviously, but he likes to accent what's going on the screen with music. So every time Indy Jones hit the bad guy, you'd hear it in the music. Unfortunately, in the sound effects, there was also this happening because, of course, the dialogue and sound effects editors cut 10 fist hits and mix them all together to make Indy's fist the biggest fist of all. Everybody remembers how in Reel 1, Indy's gun in the bar sounds like a cannon and everybody else has a little cap gun. Well, that's not an accident. Okay? So this movie was mixed by Bill Varney, Steve Maslow, and Greg Landaker, and I was there hanging around. And they won an Oscar for that, and they deserve it. And one of the reasons why they deserve it is because they had to figure out a way that every time that music hit like that, it hid the sound effects. So they did a trick. In movies, unlike records, music comes to you in at least 3 channels because the left and right speakers are so far apart in the movie theater that they actually have a center speaker behind the screen, which you don't need for your home system. So the music came in left, center, right, discrete audio tracks. Well, John Williams never knew this. Don't you anybody tell him. Every time the fist hits came, or every time the truck bounced on the road and there was a big music hit, they just shut off the center channel of the music to let the sound effects come through. Now you can't really tell because the left and right are still playing. But next time you hear that movie, listen for that there. Just a little story. In closing, I want to keep this short. This is a huge honor for me. I take this very seriously. Mr. Anthony, Evan, you can count on me to help out in any way I can. In the meantime, I just want to say to all of you, thank you very much.
I'd like to now introduce Mr. Scotty Ross, who has recently celebrated his 30th anniversary at Golden West College. He's the College Facility Officer. Scotty Ross.
Thank you. I feel like I'm the one that's being honored today, just because I get to present to you Tony Kawashima. I remember Tony when he first started here just a couple of years ago, fresh out of high school, scared to death, come walking into the photo lab shaking, but the thing that I remember about him was his smile. Tony has got a wonderful smile. It seemed like everything that went wrong in the lab and had other people very, very nervous, Tony would just smile it and keep right on going. In fact, he kept going so much that he even went out after he graduated from here and started his own photo business. And that, you got to have a smile to do something like that. Tony also went and graduated from Cal State Long Beach and then went into volunteerism. Tony has even been given awards for volunteering. He's been on the Planning Commission, and now Tony is running for City Council. And I'm sure with his smile, we'll see it at the City Council. So I'd like to have Tony bring his smile up here and show it to all of you. Tony Kawashima.
Good evening, and thank you, all of you, President Iglesias, guests, and faculty members. It is truly an honor to be here, and I want to make sure with the President, do I still keep my plaque if I lose in 4 weeks? If I don't get elected? Okay, good. That being given, all right, good. As I was telling Scotty, it's hard for me to believe that it's been 25 years since I left Golden West College. I guess part of aging is time flies faster and faster, and in fact, Don and I went to the same high school together. I haven't seen Don since we graduated from Marina High School, and we all know the last time we saw each other was, it was in the back of a police car. We were toilet papering the school the last day, and were tipped off by Huntington Beach Police Department. So that was the last time I've seen Don. But it's nice to see you again. Nice to see you again. I think my story really isn't different from a lot of students who leave high school. I graduated from Marina in 1973, and like most students, you're faced with, what do I do now? What are my options? How do I make my contributions to society? And as what a lot of people do, you ask your parents. And my mother was part of the first class of Golden West College when they opened. She, like a lot of other parents, married, had 3 kids by 20 years old, and her college career is cut short. And so I remember my sophomore year of high school, she said, you know what, I'm going back to school. And we all thought, why? Then I found out, she said, well, I'm going to get my degree in English because I helped your dad through college, school, and now it's my turn. I said, well, okay. Then I found out, well, what do you want to pursue? She said an English degree, and I thought, perfect, you could help my papers. So I was very supportive of that. But come here to Golden West College, I always had an interest in photography. I always liked to tinker with it. And so I enrolled it. I thought, well, maybe I'll take a photo class. It seems like fun and probably not a bad way to meet girls and whatever. But that really didn't happen, but I did meet Scotty, who was in charge of our photo lab. And like I said, as a kid, I was only 17 years old in this new environment with older people and from all over Orange County. And he was such a source of information. He made me realize that actually I could make a living in photography. To me, it has always been a hobby you tinker with, a pipe dream. And I consider myself lucky because as a photographer, I really get paid to pursue my hobby. That's how I see my job, is I get paid to do something I enjoy doing. It's not a job. And I always wonder if the day will happen where I'll wake up and think, oh, I can't do this anymore. But after 23 years, it hasn't happened. So the fire still burns. I get up, it's a new day, and there's always a new challenge. I still have that enthusiasm. I hope it goes on for another 15, 10 years maybe. But I just have I feel so grateful to Golden West College. I would always recommend my kids, if they don't get the 4-year scholarship to Stanford or Cal, I tell them there's nothing wrong with going to community college. For me, it was the best choice. It was a great transition from high school, easing into a college environment, the small classes, and just I have memories of coming here on my bicycle and hanging out at the photo lab and processing prints and just picking Scotty's brain and learning from each other in a small, intimate environment. it was just something that I'll always remember. Looking back then as a 19-year-old, I see how the world has changed so much in 25 years. Then I look at my profession. 25 years ago, when I was learning photography, we had cameras that actually you had to advance the film with your thumb. Autofocus was not in my wildest dreams would I ever envision how it has changed with the computer age. Having things like Photoshop and the technology, cameras that actually focus for you, that was unheard of back in 1975, and just the changes in how I feel so fortunate for kids now learning photography. It's such a different world with how it's evolved so much. But as I look to the future, I take each day as it comes. No matter what happens in the election 4 weeks from now, I'll always be grateful for my experience at Golden West College. And anytime you need somebody to tout your college, I'll be more than happy to speak. I just feel so honored. Golden West College gave me my life's work. Without Golden West College, I wouldn't have pursued my path. And so if you ever need a speaker to talk about the virtues of the community college system, I'll be first to sign up. Thank you.
I get to now introduce Mr. Ken Hamdorf. He is the men's water polo coach. He has been at Golden West for 25 years and has led the wrestlers to 16 men's swimming state championships. Coach Hamdorf.
Thank you, Janet. I know how I feel after sitting all that time. I feel great standing up here now. Why don't we stand up for about 15 seconds, because I feel so good, I know you're going to feel the same way. Stand up and stretch. Now, touch your toes. 20 push-ups. Kick your legs around. Now, I want you to get some blood going here to your brain, because I'm going to throw out some phony or fuzzy numbers. No, I'm not going to throw out any phony or fuzzy numbers. I'm going to put out some numbers. Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's my extreme pleasure to introduce a friend and a role model. I was thinking on the way over here, my main pitch here is that Rita Simonton is certainly a role model for senior physical fitness. And then I did a workout that she did about 3 years ago this morning. I've been swimming recently. And I must say, I'm going to change that. She's a role model for all of us. The workout I did this morning that she did 2 years ago, I'm still breathing hard. So Rita, you're a role model for all of us. Rita came here 24 years ago and enrolled in college. At the same time, I arrived after 13 years in local high schools. And early on, myself as well as other students became very aware of Rita. One swim magazine said that she's the original Energizer bunny. If you've been around Rita, if you spent a day in her shoes, you would be amazed at how much energy this young woman has. She was noted early on. If you asked, do you know Rita, the students would say, oh yeah, she's the one that walks across campus so fast. Say, yeah, that's right, that's Rita. She said that she goes 90 miles an hour. That's right, that's the one. And in the labs, she would outlift and outwork. And if you stopped to talk, she had something very important to say usually, but it was very quick and clipped and on to the next station. All business. She's been a competitor in the classroom and the pool. She's taken 136 units here at Golden West College, gotten her AA degree with an amazing 3.92 GPA. She's taken classes in French, beginning, intermediate, advanced, conversational, physical geography, American Indians, and on and on and on, and a 3.92. Absolutely amazing. And continues to this day to enroll every semester. In fact, she's enrolling in a computer class very shortly and joining the computer age. I kept telling her the only way you're going to keep track of me is I finally joined it, is you're going to have to email me. And so I think enough of her friends have put the pressure on her, and she's now going to join the computer world. A great lady. While she was stimulating her mind in the classroom, she was also working very hard in our labs and in our pool all those years. And at age 82, she has been named the top master swimmer in the United States 3 times. At age 70 to 74, she set 9 national and 9 world records. At age 75 to 79, it was 9 and 13, 9 world and 13 national. And since she turned 80, things have gotten a little easier for her. She's won 9 world, not only 9 world records, but she also has set 22 national records. So those aren't fuzzy or phony numbers, those are real. Congratulations for all of those wonderful accomplishments. She just returned from Munich from the World Championships, where she returned with 4 gold medals in spite of some severe health problems that hit her over there. She was on antibiotics and continued up until this week. She just got back into the water this week, and she was out working in Sandy Bonneau's class early on Monday morning, and back this morning with a workout with me, and looking like she's going to be back in shape here in no time. So an amazing feat. She's been on 4 or 5 different antibiotics, and the doctors tried to knock her down, but she's back, and we're happy that she's with us again. In addition to everything she's done in the classroom, everything she's done in the pool, she's an avid bird watcher. You can see her down at Bolsa Chica. She's in the Audubon Society. She's taken trips as far as the Pribilof Islands in order to pursue this interest. She has a lifelong interest in learning. She's attended Oxford University summer sessions to learn Roman and British history. She gets the most out of life, and she's my role model and my friend, Rita Simonton. I almost shed a tear there, Rita. Rita said she might, but I said I'll shed one before you.
Thanks, Kim. Let's see if I can live up to that. Mr. President, the faculty and staff, and honored guests, okay, and family and friends. In 1966, my husband and I and our 2 children moved into a tract house in Huntington. It was recently dredged Huntington Harbor. And at the time, Huntington Beach had about 20,000 inhabitants. It was just a small community. There were a lot of strawberry fields, bean fields, cabbage patches. We had a tiny airport and all those corrugated metal shacks on the tin can beach. I don't know if some of you remember those. But there was always the beach and the surf and the surfers. So over the years, things changed. Golden West College was built, and someone suggested that I try out the aquatics program. So I've been here ever since. And, you know, I've taken a French class here, a history class there, you know, nutrition, one in poetry, and just things I was interested in. And the first thing you knew, I had an AA degree. So I learned to swim in a brook in Connecticut with a pair of water wings. And I've always liked the water. I swam on a high school team and later on a women's team in New England AAU. And I always got beat, but I love the training and the camaraderie and just being in the water. So I'm a United States Masters Swimming, started in 1972, and I joined the next year at 54. And I had great ambitions because I had to compete only with those people in my 5-year age group, you know. So I would like to say that the faculty here at Golden West has always been outstanding, all the classes I've had. And the swimming coaches are very special people. They're always optimistic, encouraging, patient, very positive about every workout, and all the while they're improving our endurance, our stroke, and our pacing. And at the same time, they lend an understanding ear. They have empathy for our problems. They offer suggestions to help the swimmers, you know, achieve their goals and how to cope with life. So over the years, I've had great coaches, but I want especially to thank Coach Hemdorf for what he
It's okay, you can smile.
for what he has termed our symbiotic relationship. But I think they got the better deal on that one. He has stuck with me over the years, patiently sitting on deck during his lunch hour with his stopwatch in hand, trying to teach me pacing and trying to get through to me that I should go out slowly so that I should have enough energy to finish hard, you know? But we're almost there. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody at Golden West just for being here. It's such a resource for the community, and anyone can come here, even a person such as I. They can pursue, you know, a career, an interest, or just take a single class. And I think it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much. It's over.
In the program, John McGovern was going to present the next award, but he was called out of town. He is actually the chairman of the foundation, but I heard Margie's better looking anyway. So Margie is the, let's see if I get this right, Margie, the foundation's academic senate representative for the past 3 years. She began at Golden West College in 1973, retiring about 2 years ago. During her time at the college, she has developed the computer application area and continues to teach as an adjunct instructor. Ms. Margie Sorensen.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am so impressed. I could cry because I just think these stories are wonderful, and I'm so proud of Golden West College. But I am here as a great honor to present Don Testa, DDS, Doctor of Dental Surgery. Dr. Testa has retired from dental practice after selling his private practice this spring. He is now looking forward to a complete career change, but more about that later. Dr. Testa graduated with honors from New York University College of Dentistry in 1970. He came to California for his residency at Long Beach Veterans Administration Hospital in 1972. But he really liked Huntington Beach, and he has lived in Huntington Beach and at the harbor since 1972. His wife Michelle is here today, as well as his daughter Dara and his son Ryan. Their first grandchild is expected in December. For the past 25 years, Dr. Testa has had numerous professional affiliations, such as diplomat of the American Board of Oral and Maxillofacial, I had to check that pronunciation, surgeons, fellow of the American Association, the American College, and the California Association of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgeons. He is also a member of the American, California, and Orange County Dental Societies, and more. He has published several articles in the field. Dr. Testa has had affiliations with many hospitals in the area. I counted 14. He performed oral and maxillofacial surgery at nearby Fountain Valley Medical Center for many years. He is still called as a consultant to UCI Medical Center in Orange and the Veterans Administration Hospital in Long Beach. A few more include Hoag Hospital, Western Medical Center in Santa Ana, Huntington Beach Medical Center, College Center in Costa Mesa, and medical centers in Garden Grove and Long Beach. Professionally, he continues to serve on the California State Board of Dental Examiners and as an instructor in advanced cardiac life support with the American Heart Association. Dr. Testa is retired military, and he holds the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the U.S. Army. This gentleman has many interests. He has a real estate broker's license, a private pilot's license, an amateur radio license, and is an open water diver with the National Association of Underwater Instructors. This May, he completed his JD degree and is awaiting the results of the state bar exam next month. I have no doubt he will pass and that he will be successful in his next new career. He obviously believes in lifelong learning and has attended all of the colleges in the Coast Community College District. He has earned certificates in real estate, travel careers, and business information systems. He obtained an AA degree in 1980 from Golden West College and a certificate in accounting. He is currently giving back to the college by serving as a director on the Golden West College Foundation Board, I have observed firsthand his enthusiasm and dedication to Golden West through his work on the foundation. I am very pleased to present Dr. Don Testa. Congratulations to a very deserving Alumni Pillar of Achievement recipient.
Thank you all very much. I'm very, very proud to be a recipient of this honor. At the risk of being somewhat political, allow me to say that I'm a strong advocate of public education. While I'm sure we would all agree that primary and secondary public education in California might need some tweaking, the post-secondary system in California is exemplary, secondary to none. Several months ago, I was listening to Dr. Laura on the car radio. A single mom from Massachusetts was calling in. She had a child graduating from the Boston area and couldn't afford to send her child to college in Boston. Now, Boston has some of the finest private universities in the nation, if not the world, schools like Harvard and MIT and Brandeis. But even if one was so fortunate as to be accepted to those institutions, the tuition there and the living costs are just totally outrageous. This mom was contemplating moving to California so she could take advantage of the relatively modest tuition costs for California residents and the fine education achievable in California schools. And I was struck by the realization that people across the country recognize the value of a public education here in California. I, for one, have always recognized the value of the California higher education system. When my children were of school age, we were living right here in Huntington Beach. Many of my friends and colleagues were sending their children to private schools. My wife and I decided to give the public school system a shot. We ourselves were both products of the public school system, and my wife was a former elementary school teacher in the Bronx, where we both grew up. It was our feeling that there were no great differences in the quality of education in public versus private schools, and we both recognized the importance of socialization with other children in the community. Besides, we always figured if the public schools didn't work out, we would then give the public school system a shot. Well, fortunately, both of our children did very well in school. They both graduated from Marina High School just down the road from here and continued on. My son is a mechanical engineer, graduating from Cal Poly in Pomona, and my daughter is a high school science teacher, graduating with a triple major from UCSD and a master's in education technology from Cal State San Diego. She is currently the head of the digital high school program at Rancho Buena Vista High School in North San Diego County. I'm very proud of both of you guys. Public education works. As a matter of fact, I can think of no more important function of government than to provide for the education of the populace. My trek through Golden West College, while not atypical, is not the usual story. I came here in 1976 after already acquiring a Bachelor of Science degree from CCNY and a DDS from NYU. I completed my residency in oral and maxillofacial surgery at the Long Beach Veterans Administration Hospital and opened a private practice in Fountain Valley in July 1975. I was very fortunate that my practice did well, and I started to invest in real estate. I soon realized that although I had a lot of training in the sciences, I had no training in business. I took a few courses at Coastline College and eventually secured my real estate broker's license. As part of the course requirement, I had to take a course in Accounting 101. I enjoyed that course and so enrolled in additional accounting courses here at Golden West College, eventually completing my certificate in accounting in 1980. By then, I kind of was hooked on night school. I always took several courses a semester and eventually completed a certificate program at Orange Coast College in Business Information Systems and a certificate in travel careers from Coastline. I see one of my former travel professors, Professor Jim Boa. I want to thank him for teaching me how to write an airline ticket. I also took several anthropology courses here at Golden West, and then I kind of ran out of courses to take. So I decided to enroll at Pacific Coast University School of Law in Long Beach, and I graduated several months ago with a JD in law. I'm reminded of the ancient Greek philosophers who said that knowledge is like a balloon. The larger it gets, the greater the periphery on the unknown. I'm grateful to the community college system for giving me the opportunity to explore that periphery. Although I feel I received a quality undergraduate education, it was heavily weighted toward the sciences. Golden West College and the Coast Community College District allowed me to fill in the gaps. It's a wonderful system, not only for those students as a stepping stone to a four-year education or for a career certification program, but for those of us who merely want to expand our education for education's sake. We should all feel lucky that we have this opportunity, and the education here at Golden West is no compromise. The faculty and staff in Golden West are as dedicated and caring and giving as any, public or private. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve on the Golden West College Foundation Board, and I'll continue to work to improve the educational opportunities here at Golden West, where a quality education is available to all. The only requirement is a desire to obtain an education. Thank you. I'll treasure this honor always.
Thank you very much, Janet, and the recipients and the introducers of the recipients. Now I think you know why all of us in the community college business really look forward to these wonderful events where we hear these wonderful stories. And as I say, these events are replicated at probably 107 of the community colleges in the state of California. It is, in my estimation, the best community college system in the United States. We do an awful lot for a lot of people in this state and have helped to make the economy, to bring the strength of the economy to the state of California. And these are just a few examples here today in Huntington Beach. Now what I'd like to do is do what we call the investiture ceremony, which is basically inaugurate the folks into our walls. So if the 6 outstanding alumni will come forward, we will give you a plaque and shake your hand, and you will be invested. Rita, this is for you. Carolyn?
I'm right here.
Oops, sorry. This is for you. David Doc? This is for you, Doc. Thank you. Dawn? Tony? And Dr. Testa for you. You are now duly invested with all the power I have. What we will do next is, those of you that would like to attend a reception, we will have a little reception in the community center. You'll see balloons leading that way. It's on Gothard Street. So if you will follow us and say hi to the recipients, the introducers, and all of the folks that have time to be with us today. And thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your attendance.
you.